Good evening from London. Sorry, from Swansea now, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. Your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. And it's Tuesday. You know what that means. It means I'm not supposed to be here. Tuesdays is usually my day off. Well, uni's finished for the term now, so I'm here on a Tuesday, and I've given Clark the day off instead, but we've got a great show to talk about. I'm excited to be talking about WWE Raw once again. Been a few months since I spoke about an episode of Raw, so I'm excited for that. That is for sure, and I'm also excited because we have a great panel today, and let's kick things off with the head of Opinion Shit Wrestling Republic, Anthony Ricciardi. Anthony, how are you today?
I'm doing all right. It's always a good sign starting a show when the host doesn't even know where they're located in.
Yeah, it's not.
It's rare that I'm not covering a Dynamite, so I'm covering a Raw. So this should be fun, and really, it's the last Raw of the year because next week is a best of episode, so it'll be fun to cover it.
It absolutely will. No, I mean, honestly, I start this off. It's a Tuesday. I'm not used to, doing shows on a Tuesday, and I suddenly think I'm back in London again. But anyway, also joining us is somebody who was also previously in London earlier this week, but is now also back in Wales, and that is the AEW reviewer for Wrestling Republic, and that is David Sheldon. David, how are you today?
Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to be here. You can tell I'm in a different location because my lighting's gone very weird. I don't quite know what's happened to it, but I'm very dark. But I'll try and work out what that is. But hello, everyone. I'm excited to talk today about what I thought was a really good episode of Raw. You may not know it from some of the comments I might make on certain things later in the show, but I really did think this was a great episode, a really fun holiday show. Always love a good holiday show because WWE got into a bad habit of having some really bad ones when I started getting into wrestling. But this was a really fun show, and I'm excited to talk about it with a great panel. So let's get talking.
You've done a me, David. You've come into the show, you said, it was a great show last night, and now you're going to go throughout the show and just absolutely trash it. That is right. That's what I've done every other week. I end up doing that. But we've also got Bobby Batista in the comments. Hello, Bobby. How are you today? I hope you are well. And last but certainly not least, we have the man who had the tables, the host of Take It to the Table, Chaos. Chaos, how are you?
Can I get a yeet? Yeah.
Yeet.
Yes. Great to be here. Sorry everyone about Ben. He basically did the R-Truth right there. Thinking he's in Louisville, Kentucky, and when they're actually in Des Moines. But it is what it is. But yeah, I am happy to be here. Clearly, I'm wearing a Yeet shirt because I actually thought these were going to be a collector's item until they actually relicensed the use of it. And now I've got 15 Yeet shirts that is just collecting dust right now. So I thought, let me just wear one of them right now. But other than that, I'm here. I'm glad to be here. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Let's get straight to it.
That's tremendous. I didn't realize you had 15 of them.
I know, I'm pissed. Just piled up there. Does anyone want a Yeet shirt?
You could do a take it giveaway.
Giving them away.
Just put them in like a t-shirt cannon and just be running around the streets like Santa Claus. Just
extra everyone with
it. You got a t-shirt.
Everybody
gets a t-shirt.
Gold.
Oh, he's knocked his camera over now.
That made it all worth it. You better be clipping this, Ben.
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm not concussed.
Mark is alive.
He's just about alive. He's somehow survived. Anyway, let's get on to the Judgment Day, who have also somehow survived. JD McDonough has somehow survived because he faced R-Truth in a loser leaves Judgment Day match and he lost. So One would presume that would mean JD is now out of Judgment Day. He's not. He's still in it. I guess it was an April Fool's in December. But anyway, R-Truth, JD McDonough, it kicked off Raw in a fun way. R-Truth at 51 years old. I mean, this guy is more athletic than half their roster, it seems. Honestly, the guy shocks me every single time I see him in the ring. The injury hasn't slowed him down at all. This was just a really fun way to start a holiday edition of Monday Night Raw. Only issue I had with this match was that Dominic Mysterio was getting involved at times and then not at others. And I was like, why don't you just get involved at all times? It's a no DQ match. I don't know. That was a bit weird. But then later on in the night, the Judgment Day story continued. They continued to dominate the news stories on Monday Night Raw as they were backstage. Priest was, joking that JD's out of the group. JD got all upset. Finn Balor was weirdly laughing at him, despite the fact that Finn Balor was the one who wanted him in the group and trained him. I hope there's some story there. I hope they're not just going to ignore that. But that was really, really weird. But anyway, Balor and Priest defended their tag team championships in the main event against the Creeds. And boy, oh boy, this was, here it is, a banger of a bout. A really, really fun main event to Monday Night Raw. I thought a few times for, split few seconds that the Creeds might get the victory. They failed, but they got so close. And at the start of the match, I'm going to be honest, the crowd were a little bit dead for them. But as the match went on, they loved the Creeds. And listen, WWE are doing a great job with the Creeds right now. They brought them up, they've made them feel important, and they main evented Raw already. So honestly, I'm thrilled. I think these guys have some, great potential. I truly do. But Anthony, let me start with you. What were your thoughts on, the Judgment Day related things on last night's episode of Raw?
R-Truth is one that really does amaze you when you think about it. How long he's been around and he doesn't miss a step. He really is an ageless wonder, like of a talent, like 51, and he's entertaining.
Yes.
Like it's a goofy character, but it works. And I think I had said in the group chat, in a lot of ways, his connection with the Judgment Day reminds me of Zayn's connection with the Judgment Day, the honorary Uce. Like, I almost want to see Truth pretty much try to consider himself part of the group. And I think I said that the term I used with you instead of honorary Uce, like an honorary judgy or something, some ridiculous name like that. And I could totally see him referring to himself like that. And Priest deadpans goes, "We're not calling you that." Like, I think you could have a lot of fun with this. JD being kind of the butt of the joke. It kind of works. Like, I mean, he's an incredible talent, and it's not. I don't think it'll hurt him. I think it gets him more recognition. Same way, like Cody said, he was a bobblehead because of his big head. Like, I mean, there's little things that they could do. I thought it was an entertaining match to kick off Raw, and the stuff behind the scenes and Truth being in the group and not JD. It's almost to the point where Finn now is making fun of JD because he's the butt of the joke instead of Finn when Finn was on his losing streak. So now it's like, let's make fun of this guy because he's the guy to make fun of now. It's not me. So I don't know if they're doing part of that. I don't know if that'll be part of it somewhere along the lines. The Creeds, they're definitely pushing them. So they see something really special in them. I don't know whether or not they view them in the way of, let's say, Julius as maybe the one that the breakout. Like, at some point, I don't know if they're eventually going to go, we're going to get behind this one and not the other. Like, I'm a little concerned that they may go that route somewhere down the road. And what happens to the other one if they don't get behind it? Like, which one's going to be the Jannetty if they don't get behind it?
Yeah.
That would be my only concern. It doesn't shock me that they didn't pull the trigger on Raw. There were moments where I thought maybe they might actually do it to go out on a bang for the year. But at the same point, you're like, they might wait to a major pay-per-view. Whether it's Rumble, whether maybe it's the Day One special, or possibly Mania, because we don't know where these four fall in the grand scheme for Mania. Like, there's very few people that we can point to and going, okay, this person's going to be in this match at Mania.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a good chance. We don't know what's going on with them. So it'll be interesting to see as this fleshes out over the next, weeks, months, where what's going to happen. Because we all thought Gable was going to be the Intercontinental title, and that kind of just drops. I'm hoping it's not a situation where it just drops.
No, I agree with you. I absolutely do. Only thing, I mean, I said on yesterday's show, I really, really do believe the Royal Rumble is going to be a key pay-per-view for the Judgment Day, because I truly believe Priest is cashing in Money in the Bank and winning the World Championship. And I also believe that Finn Balor's winning the Royal Rumble as well. I think they're really going to swerve us all. I think Punk versus Rollins is going to be non-title, because I think they're waiting to do Punk versus Reigns after Mania.
That Finn pick to win the Rumble, that one's out there. I mean,
It is, but
I wouldn't have went that
it.
where I would have went Punk or Cody, but I wouldn't have went Finn.
I don't think they're gonna have Punk win it. I don't think they're gonna have Cody win it again, because I think they could be worried about him being overpushed. I don't think Punk versus Rollins is going to be a title match. I really strongly don't think that. So I think Cody's going to find another way, and I think Balor versus Priest is going to be the world title match.
I think Cody, not to hold anything up, but I think Cody, it's either the Elimination Chamber is going to solve something, or the one out, maybe he wins Damien's briefcase. That gives him the opportunity there.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting indeed, actually. But what about you, David? What about you? How are you feeling, about this one? What did you think of all the Judgment Day related chaos on Monday Night Raw?
Well, plenty to get through, so I'll keep it quick. But first of all, I predicted that Balor was going to win the Rumble back when it was Finn versus Seth. So I'd just like to put myself out there on that one.
Fair enough.
But just for Anthony's, that it was an out there pick. We know me and you can agree on something.
Okay.
As for this, lots to talk about. R-Truth has always been very hit or miss for me. I think he's either really funny or quite cringeworthy. I thought this was really funny. I really enjoyed this. There were bits like the asking Siri for where 34th Street was. That was a bit naff of a joke, but like there was some really funny stuff. I actually think it was quite clever, because they never said it was a Miracle on 34th Street. It was a Loser Leaves Judgment Day match. R-Truth did, and Michael Cole did. But Wade Barrett said it wasn't, Rhea said it wasn't, and Priest never actually made anything. He just said it was a good idea, which kind of led so it was kind of that underlying joke, which I thought made it funnier, give it a little bit of extra stakes, even if it wasn't going to be followed through on. R-Truth, it's a magician, the fact he can still go. I really like that they've given him a chance to have an actual match. It was a lot of pillage and plunder, really fun match. But R-Truth hasn't really had matches longer than a few minutes for a long while, so it was nice to see him get an actual thing of substance to do, because he's really good, and that was really exciting. Main event match I thought was very good. I don't think it reached the heights I thought it could have reached, but there's a rematch for that, which I think will happen. I think that Julius Creed is an astonishing talent, and I've heard for a long time people saying, "Oh, it's Julius is the breakout star," and I didn't really see it as much, but the more I watch, the more like, yeah, he is. But I think that they work brilliantly as a tag team, and I think Brutus is great as well. My only complaint with the match itself, or two complaints, I thought the finish was a little bit flat. I kind of was expecting them to kick out of that choke slam. It just felt like when I got to the end, I was like, oh, I feel there's another couple of minutes in this. But not a complaint, but just felt a little bit of a strange ending. Also, there was a section where everyone started throwing each other up on their shoulders, and it looked a bit like, that thing where you all take people into the pool and stick them on your shoulders and try and, throw balls at each other. It was all very staged, and it didn't look like natural. It did look like, oh, and now you're going up, and and now you're going up, which is a little bit naff. But the match was really, really
sounds like
good.
a Kenny Omega match, to be fair.
Not quite as bad. I know, but I mean, I don't find Omega's as bad as that.
Only joking.
I know, but really, really fun, and I enjoyed all of this.
No, I absolutely do agree with you there. And now, I when it was happening at the time when they were getting them all up on the shoulders, I did agree. It looked a bit staged, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Good way to start and end the show. The Judgment Day, at least to me, isn't feeling as repetitive as maybe it did a month or two ago right now, which I'm just super thrilled about. But what about you, Chaos? Are you more positive about the Judgment Day now, or do you still think that, its time is nearly up?
No, I've always been very positive with Judgment Day, even though I'm just in that phase right now where the fact that they started from being like jobbers and just goobers, and now they are like the front center of Raw. Like Raw is their show, same as Bloodline is on for SmackDown. And yeah, I've always liked it. I like this stuff with R-Truth. R-Truth has been killing it ever since he's returned. In the words of Booker T, he's looking real jack, baby. He's looking real jack, even though he's 51. He's looking real good in the ring. The ending was funny as hell, typical R-Truthisms. And yeah, it was a solid win. I just kind of wish they kind of followed through with the JD being out, because when I heard they was gonna get kicked out, and I love the little shirt that he had with everyone in his like still tape thing and R-Truth at the bottom and Judgment Day. It was pretty cool. It would be very funny to see him in there, and then JD just out in the corner, just like, oh, I want to get back in with Judgment Day. It would be pretty cool. But it is what it is. So the match was fine. The main event, solid. So far since being on the main roster, I've never seen someone or any team or any person that's come from NXT to the main roster and have continuously banger after banger after banger. And yeah, tonight they proved it. I agree with David. The ending was a bit weird. I feel like they rush it because he did kick out literally at 3, and it looks like they kind of rushed it and just pushed it through. Maybe they were running on time constraints. I'm not sure. So I feel like there probably was an extra minute or so to go. And he kind of looked up and he looking at Damian Priest. Is like, what, is it over? Like, what's going on? So it was kind of weird. But yeah, other than that, solid start, solid finish. I can't wait to see what the Creed brothers do. I think they're going to be breakouts, both of them. I think they're great separately and together as well for the Creed brothers. So hopefully they give them a long enough run and then do that afterwards. But yeah, solid all the way through.
I think somebody, watched the podcast the other day when I went out on a rant about Eddie Kingston. Sorry, not Eddie Kingston, Brody King kicking out at 3.5. And they thought, hang on a second, let's do this in the main event of Raw instead as well. But, oh well, they did that. And I do agree as well. It did look weird. I think it was deliberate. I think it was a way to, protect. Because it was about half a second before he even tried to put the arm up. It blatantly was a 3. So I do just think that they were like, well, let's do that. It'll make Creeds look stronger.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
It's a weird one, and I don't like it when they do it. But now let's move on, and let's move to Nia Jax. Sorry, that's not the right order, is it? I messed up the... Oh, gosh. You can tell I'm not used to working
Get my
on
lovely
Tuesdays,
face
can't you?
instead.
I mean, there's so many things I could say right now, but I'll leave that one alone.
Oh, God.
This isn't table. I can't just have fun.
They don't all look alike, Ben.
It's me, Ben. It's me, Ben.
There we are. It's
It's
got up
me.
now. It's just to make it worse. My notes thing crashed. It's up now again. We're on track. Let's go. Nia Jax, Becky Lynch. When I first saw this, and I saw that it got 4.5 on our rating scale, I was shocked. And I was even more shocked when I listened to the first half of this promo. Nia Jax, she tried. She really does try, but here's the thing, the crowd just don't care. That's the reality of it. She can do, some solid work, the crowd don't care anymore, and it sucks. But do you know why this promo was a 4.5? Because of Becky Lynch. They care about Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch came out there and just completely, killed Nia Jax on the microphone. It was absolutely brutal. But I guess, Becky Lynch looks strong, Nia Jax looks weak. Presume Becky's going to get the win. And then where do you go from here with Nia Jax? Becky, Jax, day 1 confirmed. David, what were your thoughts on this one?
I am baffled it got 4.5 stars. Sorry, Kobe, I love you, my friend, but I'm baffled. Look, I thought it was fine. I think that Nia has actually improved a lot on the microphone from when when she was last here. I do think she's got better. I don't think the material she was saying was as good as the way she was. I thought she delivered it quite well, and I like the heel presentation. But I don't. But I think, yeah, the stuff she had to say was a bit weak. I thought Becky had some really good lines in there. Very similar stuff that we've already heard from her. I think in previous weeks we had the same thing last week. Pretty much, it was well delivered, very well delivered. I hate this. It's one of my least favorite tropes in wrestling is get a ref out here. Oh, actually, no, we're not actually going to do it on your. We're going to do it on my terms. You know, it's a boring trope because we've seen it 200 times, and to bring a ref, it's all a bit contrived. I mean, they're going to do the match on day one in San Diego. I will never not make that joke whenever San Diego is referenced. But which would be a really fun match, and I do think that this is a good little feud to have. And I'm not so sure Becky will 100% win. I think she 95% will, but I think there's a chance. So I don't think Nia was as weak, perhaps, as you thought, Ben, in this. But I thought the whole segment, I thought Becky was certainly better, and Becky had some really good stuff in here. But 4.5 stars, I'm not quite so sure.
Well, Kobe got called out for your ratings yesterday, David. And today, you're calling out Kobe. Poor Kobe. He can't win. He can't win.
Love you, Kobe.
No.
Be better. In the words of Kratos, be better.
Book it better, but no. Jeswin 2.0 on Instagram wants to shout out hello to you there. And also we got P. Collister agreeing as well with you there, David. And Soul is agreeing that Kobe overrated that one. But I
sorry, Kobe.
drunk on maple syrup apparently, Kobe.
Had to
But
take the Canadian dig. He had to take it.
I love
Poor
you. I love you
Canadians.
so much, Kobe. I'm so sorry that I'm laughing this hard. But
oh gosh, but let's move on and let's talk about something a bit better, shall we? Let's talk about Gunther versus The Miz, where if The Miz lost, he couldn't challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship again. Well, this match might have been better than their Survivor Series one. It was, and I'm saying it for the second time on this show, it was a banger of a bout. Really great match. One of the Miz's best matches in the past few years, undoubtedly for me. Gunther always has bangers, nothing to be surprised of there. I thought for a split second when they hit the skull-crushing finale off the middle rope, I thought that was the end of the match. I thought, hang on a second, we're done here. That is it. Miz is winning the belt in a shocker on the last Raw of 2023, but it wasn't to be. Gunther still the champion. Miz cannot challenge again. Chaos, what were your thoughts on this one?
Whew, man, yeah, this match was solid to a T. Yeah, it's a typical Gunther match. And when I say typical Gunther match, I mean, like you said, an absolute banger of a bout. Again, it's been a long time since I've not thoroughly enjoyed a Gunther match from beginning to end. Even like, we all know with wrestling matches, they usually start off very slow pace and then it builds up right to the crescendo at the end. This one was just great from beginning to end. And the mind games were great. Miz pulling out random move set like that. He took someone else's move set from the 1970s and brought it over into his and did all these crazy submissions and all this stuff. Yeah, this is a babyface run that I've thoroughly enjoyed from Miz because he's not just shaking hands and kissing babies. He's actually putting the babyface stuff into his moveset and coming out with random stuff that people didn't expect him to even do. So yeah, it was great. Good close calls. I thought, yeah, when he did the skull crushing finale from the top rope, I thought he was gonna be a random set because we've seen it before. Like, people like out of nowhere getting the random title, but we still got that Vince-ism in the back of our head. We're just like, oh my god, is this gonna be a Vince trope? Because that's something that I could totally imagine see them do. If it's not there, then it's maybe in someone's hometown or whatever. But no, it was a great fight. He definitely way better than the pay-per-view. Premium live event match. Yeah, now who's to go next? I mean, right now it's almost like he's recycling people now because we got Bronson Reed now waiting now because he's starting to talk to Adam Pearce but my pick is still going to be Gable. I think he's going to be the person to eventually win it, and I think that'll be probably a WrestleMania moment because obviously they've built this title up so much that whoever dethrones him it has to be a big moment. You can't just throw it on Raw or even the Royal Rumble. You need to do it at somewhere big, and I think the WrestleMania match will be great. And then Gable gets his moment. He truly deserves it. I think out of everyone, even though you got Bronson Reed, you got Gargano, and all these other people, yeah, Gable is the best person. He's the closest so far, in my opinion. So other than that, going back to the match, solid match. Unlucky Miz, better luck next time. But yeah, all great either way.
Yeah, P. Collister agrees with you on Instagram. We've also got AB Nations with a yeet chant in the Instagram comments. And Bobby Petito thinks that Juice or Kofi Kingston could be a possible challenger. I'd love to see either of those. Kofi Gunther, I think actually could be. That could be interesting, I think, for sure. But now let's talk about something else I loved, right? And this was Nakamura's Nightmare Before Christmas promo, because this promo poem, whatever you want to call it, was exceptional. It featured, some insults which we can't even say on this podcast, right? I don't know how they are allowed on WWE TV, but it was fantastic. Great job to whoever wrote it, because it was done just exceptionally well. And it was a great performance by Nakamura too. And then out of nowhere, Cody Rhodes attacks him. They brawl all the way to the ring. They're just fighting each other. They get separated by security. Almost across Rhodes onto the table. Nope. Separated by security again. I'm now sold on this match for day one. I'm excited for it. They've just drawn me in. They've told a story. This is how you do it. An excellently done segment. One of my favorites on Raw in actually a long time, to be honest, because I now care about this feud. But Anthony, what did you think?
I've been loving this version of Nakamura. This version where he's cutting promos and they're doing the subtitles like he's an assassin. I've been enjoying that, and the whole night before Christmas vibe to this, him having the book with the logo on it, and throwing the insults, and particularly, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but what he said about Cody's father. That's the line. You don't cross the line. Once you bring Dusty into it, that's the line. I just love the way they did it, because you didn't expect Nakamura to be interrupted. Like, you assumed it was going to be the typical pre-tape segment that we usually see. But Cody coming out of nowhere, taking out the tree and taking him out. And it was so well done. Like, they did it in such a way, and they gave you a reason to care. People could connect to that. It's not just Nakamura has a problem with Cody and is trying to take Cody out. They've established they had similar situations. They won the Rumble, but lost at Mania, which it's a small group of people that have done that. And, Nakamura struggled to find his way back. Cody presumably has continued to rise to get back to that spot, but Nakamura didn't. So it's smart. And then bringing in a personal aspect to it of bringing in Dusty, which the audience gets. It was just so well done, and you're building it up, because day one, arguably, even though they didn't have a December pay-per-view, it pretty much is the pay-per-view before Rumble now, because they're making it as a special Raw. I'm sure SmackDown will have something similar, probably. It's pretty much the pit stop before you get to the road to Mania, which is the Rumble. So I thought they really did this well. And, I'm curious to see where it goes from here. But the problem is, Cody's probably going to come out on top, because he's going to Mania. Nakamura would now be losing two major feuds in a row, because he lost to Seth, and now he's probably losing to Cody. Does he maintain, his status quo, or is he not going to be able to recover? Like, he needs a rivalry that he can win.
Yeah. No, it's true, but it's also true that WWE for years have done, these types of rivalries. These type of run with heels where they've lost tons of matches, and they'll randomly put them in another world title match then afterwards. I mean, Finn Balor is actually the perfect example. He lost tons of feuds in the build-up to the Seth Rollins match, and then he still got a title match. But who knows? I do agree with you. It'll certainly halt his momentum in terms of, the fans, in the fans' eyes. But now let's move on, and let's move on to the women's tag team championships, because we have new women's tag team champions. Because Katana Chance and Kaden Carter defeated Chelsea Green and Pippa Niven in just an excellent match. This really, really was the best women's tag team championship match we've seen in quite a while. We mentioned Kobe's ratings, earlier. He rated this 3.25, and that was the rating on this entire card, which annoyed me. I thought that was criminally underrated, right? Even on our scale. But I thought this match was excellent. The after party finisher, that's superb. Definitely a great tag team finish. And the results shocked me too. I didn't think it was going to happen, so I was pleasantly really surprised when it did. But I did have one issue, and that issue was that afterwards, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell congratulated them, and they were like, oh, let's go and party, yeah. You should not be happy. You should not be wanting to go out to party with the champions. You should be going, hang on, we're next in line. You should not be taking that. What are they? Are Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell now just two fans? Because they're better than that. They sure are. They're a great tag team. What is this? In the words of Clark, what are we doing here? David, can you enlighten me?
Why ever did everyone come out and celebrate with Lex Luger? Should be nobody in the ring. Should everyone just be coming out to batter Lex Luger in the back of the head? Although, to be fair, that was still deep. That was a bad example because that was ridiculous because he didn't actually win the title. He won it by count out. Anyway, I have to say, I'm afraid that I agree with Kobe on this one. Sorry, Ben. I liked it. I liked the match. I thought it was a fun 7 minutes. There were issues. There was a pinfall that got broken up late. There was a bit of clunkiness towards the start. I thought it took about 3-4 minutes to find its rhythm. I thought the last few minutes were really good. Maybe a little low, 3-2-5. I liked the finisher. I was very surprised they won. I really thought it was going to be a run-of-the-mill defense for Chelsea and Piper. But I'm glad that Caden and Katana have got their chance. I do think they're very talented. I'm a bit...
Good
I was
pun,
surprised,
by the way.
But sorry?
You said Katana got her chance.
I'm proud. I'm proud of a pun that I didn't mean, but I'm sticking with it. But yeah, it was a fun for what it was. I didn't have the issue with Candice and Indy. I get it, but they're baby faces. It's what baby faces do. They'll get their shot eventually. I think that of all the title matches on this show, it's Christmas. They probably just wanted a Christmas title change to make everyone feel happy. Babyface is getting the win over the heels. Totally functional, and I liked it for what it was. Like I said, I don't share your rave for it, Ben, but I did enjoy it, and I do think it was a feel good moment for the show.
There's always once a week a match which I love and everyone else, doesn't. They don't get the rage behind it, and more often than not, that is in the meat division on Monday Night Raw. Well, Tozawa entered the meat division last night and took on Ivar, and it was a really fun match, really great showing for Tozawa, and then he got eaten. Ivar won, but this meat division on Monday Night Raw, it's the best part of it indeed. But now let's go on and let's talk about another just great part of Monday Night Raw right now, and that is Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre, because of course these two, they feuded months ago, and Seth said that, Drew, you'll get another opportunity. You just, you've got to go full cycle, you've got to earn it once again. Well, he's clearly earned it now because it's official. Day one, Rollins McIntyre. I'm looking forward to it. It should be exciting. And McIntyre came out and said, hey, Seth, you know what? I respect you. Congratulations. And Seth was a bit like, why? And McIntyre goes, well, because you stood up against the villain CM Punk, who everybody's forgiven. Well, you stood up for, against him. And McIntyre now likes Seth. They're all besties again, it seems. Well, not for long. But I really like this heel McIntyre because it just feels like such a natural progression, right? He's not just suddenly a bad guy who hates all the fans, hates everything. He's consistent. He hates the people who, cost him his previous, his previous championship opportunities. it makes sense. It was very, seamless transition, him being a face to a heel. And I'm enjoying it a lot. I really, really am. There was one thing that I didn't really like about this, and that was during McIntyre's fantastic promo. He was, opening up about, some family deaths or whatever, and some just absolute idiot was chanting boring over and over and over again in that front row. Well, whoever it was, I hope you got a lot of stuff chanted at you, so much so that you got annoyed and left that arena, because there's just no place for that. It really isn't. Yes, McIntyre's a heel, but that's just childish. Get a life indeed. Rollins' response was excellent, and then the two broke out into a bit of a brawl, and Rollins just got absolutely just slammed into the steel steps. It was brutal. The visual was, oh my gosh. But the crowd were not great for this segment whatsoever, but I personally absolutely loved it. But Chaos, what did you think?
Yeah. It was solid. I love the fact how they just nonchalantly during that they just said, yeah, this is happening at day one. I was like, what?
Yep.
There's a pay-per-view now? What the hell? And it was like, no, this is obviously Raw day one version. Is yeah, fair enough. There's a little runaround, but yeah, just nonchalantly just dropped it in. I was like, okay, fair enough. Anyway, yeah, the promo was very, very solid. I did like the interactions. I do like the way if there's always with certain wrestlers, people always debate on whether someone's a tweener or anything like that. This guy is straddling that line ever so finely. Like he makes you feel sorry for him, and it's not like the typical cowardly type of heel way. It just really makes it feels it seems more remorseful. You know, he says he respects him. Gave this heartfelt story about him missing certain events with his family and not being there when one of the family members are ill and whatnot. And then Seth was just like, I what did he say? Something about nothing. It's not that I respect you, I just pity you. And then that was something that just triggered Drew at the end of it, and he just went full heel mode. So yeah, I love the way he's blurring the lines. It's not just from realism and wrestling. He's blurring the lines between being a heel and a face, and I love it. It's perfect for him. So yeah, do I think he's gonna win? No, of course I don't think he's gonna win. But yeah, it was kind of random. I don't know if he truly deserves a win against him. Maybe because he beat Jay twice, but still, like I feel like he could do a little bit more to go to actually be worthy of that championship match. But I'm here for it either way. The first match was great, loved it. And yeah, I'm sure this one will just be just as good. So perfect start to the year. The injury angle, I kind of wish like it doesn't look like enough is going to come up with it because there's obviously a 2-week differential now. Like he's going to heal up by then surely. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But either way, solid.
Well, I think they're building him up to be hurt for when Priest cashes in and successfully cashes in. But again, watch yesterday's episode if you want to see that.
Yeah, just to say that he's not going to cash in until Mania. I'm sticking to that. I put it there. He's not cashing until Mania. It's going to be total karma.
I wouldn't be so sure. I wouldn't be so sure at all. But I'm glad. I'm glad, Chaos, right, that you feel the same way as me when you first heard this. I thought I'd missed something. I was like, Seth, Drew again? It's been announced. What? It was random. It was very AEW-esque when they randomly announce a match, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, okay. But what about you, Anthony? What did you think about this segment? I mean, like, are you excited for it? Do you think there is a chance Drew could win?
No, I don't think Drew wins. I think I gotta be honest. But I like this promo, and I agree with you, Ben. The fan being a moron, it's a shame because it was real what Drew was talking about. And Drew's an interesting one, and I agree with Chaos, a tweener in the sense where you could relate to him. You understand why he has an issue with everyone accepting Jay. Like that's relatable, and that's not common with a heel. I find it very interesting that it's he's more on the heelish side, but it's more of look what you made me do. You made me do this to you. I didn't do this. You did this to yourself. Meanwhile, I'm the one beating you down, but still. I did find it funny, and I don't know whether or not this line was intentional. People were comparing the Seth promo against Punk to the Hangman promo with Punk back in AEW, and purposely saying, I don't hate you, I pity you, was the line Hangman dropped on Punk. I don't know whether or not that was intentional or not, but I wouldn't put it past them. I thought it was very well done. This is one of those things that it's going to be a decent feud. I don't know where you go from there with Drew. If you don't, again, it's a shame because there are a number of these different angles, and it's tough every time of the year when you get to this point of Mania where you're like, okay, this peg's going here, that peg's going there. We all know that. We're all just playing the game till we get to Mania. And that's the sad part because, like realistically, barring an injury or something else or a complete outside the box swerve, you kind of know where the pegs are going with the world titles. Roman's retaining, Seth's retaining, those two cornerstone matches for Mania. Realistically, like right now, we pretty much know it's Punk and Rollins, Cody and Roman too. I think
they're teasing Punk Roman though, and no way are they doing title versus title again. I don't believe it.
They'll do Punk Roman probably at SummerSlam. They're not going to do it at Mania. I don't believe. I think his dance part is dance.
No, I agree. Sorry, I agree on that. But I mean, you can't have Punk challenge for the world title, lose or win, and then challenge Roman a couple of months later without him looking like not as much of a threat.
You do realize there's a draft in between there, right?
No, I know there's a draft. I know
so,
they can't switch
he can easily get moved to SmackDown or Roman can get moved to Raw. So it's not, and Punk's got that established thing. He's a quote unquote legend, if you want to call him that. Like you kind of have a little carte blanche, like a Randy. If Randy wants a title shot, Randy Orton's getting a title shot.
That's true.
Punk's getting a title shot. It's not the equivalent of somebody else on the roster. Like Gable can't go up and go, I want you, Roman. That's nice. Like you know what I mean? It's like you gotta suspend a little bit. And again, you don't know how long you're gonna have certain pieces. You don't know how long you're gonna have Punk. He's not a spring chicken. And he has injury history. You're going to get the money matches before it ends. No,
I know. Yeah, that's why I honestly, guys, I know everybody's saying to me now it's not happening. I am dead certain Rollins versus Punk at Mania won't be for a title. I'm absolutely dead certain about it. Because they're teasing these injuries to Seth. He's going to get cashed in on. They'll run Punk versus Rollins, non-title at WrestleMania. They'll put it higher on the card than the world title, and everybody will complain, but they'll still do it. And then Punk will go over, Punk will win. He'll get drafted to SmackDown, and then Punk versus Reigns will happen early on to in the summer.
Don't you have a horrible track record of predictions?
Yeah, he does.
Cash-ins.
That's what I'm saying.
Of cash-ins, I do. Of other things, I'm quite good, but cash-ins, you are right. I don't have the best record of predicting cash-ins, but I'm saying it. This time, I don't know if it's going to happen at day one. I don't know if it's going to happen at the Rumble, but Damian Priest is cashing in and successfully cashing in. Rollins versus Punk will be non-title, unless Drew wins. All I know is Punk versus Rollins will be non-title. I'm putting my name on it now.
I agree with you.
I just want to say that Seth pretty much outlined the story in their first interaction last week. He said if you're good enough, you're going to face me for this title.
And it's not going to happen because neither of them are going to be good enough.
Please, someone clip this, please. Someone clip this, and I'm going to repeat this every time for 5 minutes. I'm going to.
Well, I'll say, look, if the ship is going down, Ben, I'll go down with the ship because I've said the same things in SummerSlam. Because I think it's all. I think I've said for ages Balor was winning the Rumble, and I don't know if Punk coming in, because it was seemed to be such a last minute thing, bringing Punk in, whether that would whether they would change whether they already had a plan for the Rumble winner, and if they already had a plan, would they change that?
I'm with
Everyone in the Instagram
Team-
comments is
Team
agreeing
Yeet.
with us, by the way,
I think
David.
Team
Everybody's
Yeet.
saying it'll be non-title.
Yeah, I think it'll be non-title.
Team
No.
Yeet, me and Anthony, me and
Team
Team Yeet, we gotta do it. Yeah, definitely. We gotta do it. I'll
Yeah.
take that to the ground, 100%.
I agree with
Things
But-
can change. The same as how they changed the main event with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho at Mania, and they bumped him down for Goldberg because Goldberg wanted to have another title.
He's the bigger
reign.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's all
Things
about
are
the
subject
No,
to
it'll be
change.
higher up on. It'll
It's-
be higher up on the card. I agree with
Here-
that.
here's
But
the thing, it's-
the world title will just like open night 2 or
It's-
something, and
it's-
everyone will complain. But it'll be the
No.
case. But
It's
we are gonna have to wrap up the show
He's been
though.
going for 10 years. You're going to put him in the main event. He's
I
been
don't.
going for
Yeah,
10
but I
years.
think they think Reigns Punk is the bigger match. That's what I think they're waiting
No.
to have Punk in a title match for Reigns because I think
you'll
that
get it, but
Punk's
you
going to
won't
be
get
the
it at
big
Mania.
obstacle. Yeah, I'm dead certain on it. But thank you guys so
No.
much for watching. If you're on Spotify, please leave us cheeky 5 stars. If you're on Instagram, please give us a follow. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And on Twitch, a follow as well. We're here every day. We'll be back tomorrow for the Dynamite preview. Thank you to Anthony. Thank you to Chaos. And thank you to David for joining me here today. It's been a great
Awesome.
show. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And check out NXT Off the Air later tonight on the channel as well. Immediately following NXT.